It's Brandon and Phil from Zaid Comics, artist and co-creator on Magic Cop, which is on Indiegogo right now. So you can go and grab yourself a copy before we ship in March, which is next month. And we are just the two best looking brothers in all of comics. And today it is Friday, and we are super excited because one of our, it really is one of our favorite movie franchises, one of the coolest action movie franchises of this century, I would say. The Expendables, I think, what was it, last week, was announced basically that it was it's coming as a Comicsgate comic book. Yeah. And that's a huge thing, especially for the independent creator scene like we're in, and just in general for comic books, having something like that come out for small creators.
And being crowdfunded too.
Right, and it is being crowdfunded on Indiegogo right now as well. We'll put a link in the description of the video so you can check that out. And it is an overwhelming success. Even on a stream yesterday, one of the creators was answering a hypothetical question. If Expendables was a success, would we see any sequels? And he goes, well, I think we see that it already is a success, and there are going to be sequels, which is going to be awesome.
It's crazy. Last Saturday, they just put it up there with no warning or anything.
Yeah.
It just popped up, and it was, funded in, I don't know, super short amount of time.
Yeah, in the first 5 minutes, it had, I think, like $10,000.
Yeah.
And in that first night, it was over $25,000.
Yeah, first 24 hours, it was like 40.
Mm-hmm. And we're closing in on 100 as of today.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, so...
not even a week.
Yeah, not even a full week, and we're almost at $100,000. And it's a really unique situation. I love the independent creator type of aspect to the comic book that is going on now. Although the original storyline for the comic was written by Sylvester Stallone. And as soon as it happened, as soon as it came out, I was talking to Phil, just being like, how cool that IP, The Expendables, is, being basically an independently created movie, because it's Sylvester Stallone just writing the movie himself, pretty much like all of his movies. And then with not like a ridiculously huge budget or ridiculously huge publishing or production company behind it, and then now it's going to be an independent comic book also with just completely crowdfunded. I think that's super cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. You have an awesome star-studded cast putting the book together. It's going to be published by Richard C. Meyer, who did Jawbreakers and Iron Sights. He's raised a bunch of money for his crowdfunding campaigns on Indiegogo and is a huge voice in Comicsgate. And he has worked with Chuck Dixon in the past on some stories for Jawbreakers, and they've become buddies. Chuck Dixon, of course, is a long-running veteran of comic books. He's the creator of Bane and had a long run on Batman. And with that, hanging out with the creator of Bane, Grant Nolan, who's the other co-creator of Bane, is doing the art for the main story on that. So huge people in comics working on this book together, which is so cool to see. Kelsey Shannon, I think, is doing a backup story. We got Billy Tucci on another cover for the book. So I can't wait to see all these covers because they're not announced yet. But it's so cool to have this all come together, and like Brandon said, it opens up new possibilities for independent Comicsgate creators getting a hold of IPs and showing what we could do with these other creators that are known and established. And you see that this is becoming a huge success when you're putting these people in charge of these known IPs.
Sure, I think that the indie scene has so much creative talent and drive to just make amazing products. And we could look at some of the conversations that were happening about the mainstream industry, where even in one stream we were watching yesterday, they were talking about how their tendency to just hire somebody to do a couple of issues or a couple of runs of something, and then they just move on to somebody else. It's hard to get progress when you're being stifled by, you know, the tower looking down at you.
Yeah.
You know, and the indie scene is so grassroots, it's very small, you know, everybody is just creator owned, and I think that's the way that it's going to be going back, and then you're going to get a lot more creativity out of that. And then with these really popular known IPs, they're going to be really awesome because obviously the public loves to see IPs that they recognize, and they're going to latch onto that and see the quality of the stories and the art and the books that are going to be put out by Comicsgate or independent comics in general.
Yeah, and if you guys like Richard's writing, he is writing some side stories in this book, but mostly he's doing like the publishing, like overseeing the crowdfunding campaign, making suggestions to Chuck Dixon and stuff. But the main story is written by Chuck, and it's gonna be awesome. I'm super excited about it. They're putting new perks up every day.
Yeah.
Today they just put one up for a shirt with Aaron Alfeche, who's doing the first 2-page intro, kind of like laying down who the Expendables are to recap people. So they made a t-shirt of some of his art. And then they also put up, I think it was yesterday morning, they put up a tier where you could get Stallone to sign your book, which he only is going to sign 25 of them. And it was at $1,000 a piece, and it sold out in the first day of it going up there.
It's totally gone now?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So huge, you know, Stallone seems like an awesome, chill guy about this. He really trusts the team, the direction they're going with. You know, Chuck was saying that he was, you know, every time he sends them some new artwork, some story things, he just sends them F yeah back because he's excited about it and he trusts these guys. So
That's great.
it's really cool. And the other big thing that I really love about it is that all the likenesses of these characters are in it.
Dude, I'm super excited to get Stallone in on one of these like streams or podcasts or whatever with these guys.
Yeah.
You know, how cool would it be to have him there shooting, you know, the breeze with the comic book creators and just talking about the project in general and like maybe what he thinks of the comic book scene, like the independent comic book scene. That would be awesome to hear because obviously he respects us enough to work with that IP and sees the value in the indie scene because before that Expendables was owned by, or you know, the publishing for comic books was a bigger corporation, right?
Yeah, so before the first movie came out, Chuck Dixon wrote a prequel to the first movie under Dynamite Comics.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, he explains this all, and he did a little video about it. But because of that story that he did for that, Sylvester Stallone called him up and was like, hey, I love that you understand these characters and their dialogue and their banter back and forth with each other. Would you want to come and see if you could write some lines for Expendables 2, the movie? And the producers kind of lowballed Chuck, so he didn't go on board with that.
Sure.
But he's written stuff for the unreleased Expendables video game, dialogue with that he was talking about.
That's cool.
And he really enjoyed that. So he wanted him to come on for the fourth movie and try to write some stuff with that. I don't know if that's going to happen. And so he had this idea for Expendables in Hell, and
Right.
Chuck's like, we should do it as a comic.
We'll have
No
to
one's
put
gonna greenlit
a
like
link to
movie.
that stream in the description as well because that thing's awesome. It's full of information about the
Yeah.
Expendables and then the comic project. So let us know what you think. Are you guys excited about Expendables? I know it's super cool and it's going to make $1 million. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
So let us know in the comments how you feel about that. Make sure you guys go to zadecomics.com and sign up for our newsletters. We have Magic Cop, which is coming out in March, which is next month. And then after that, we're launching our next project, which is called The Lost Pages. So you can sign up for the newsletter and get information about that as well. So thanks for watching, and if you guys like the video, please like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.
Hey guys, have you heard of Magic Cop? This is the comic book that we're making at Zade Comics. It is live right now on Indiegogo. It is that Miami Vice feel mixed with monsters and magic. 88 pages, fully colored graphic novel. And be sure to pick up that ash can that comes with it. It's going to have a bunch of concept art and a 12-page pilot issue. So check it out. We're fully funded. That means if you back it, you're definitely going to get this book. And we're heading on for the stretch goals. So help us out to get there. Thanks, everybody. Did you guys know that Brandon Diaz, the artist of Magic Cop, has his very own Patreon page? You guys can head on over there and pledge for either $5 or $8 a month, and you get these beautiful digitally painted pictures by Brandon. He does one a week for all of his members. So head on over there, check it out.